Hey everyone, I'm Rachel.
And I'm David.
Join us for a tour of a balcony cabin on the Royal Princess.
Let's
Let's go!
go.
And this is our balcony cabin on the Royal Princess. We are in M627, that's Marina, the 15th floor, which is one deck below the Lido, so it's actually really convenient. But normally when we do these room tours, we walk you through a brand new pristine room that we just got into, and then we do a review at the end. Today we're going to do things a little bit differently. We thought we'd try, we've been in this room almost a week now and kind of walking you through how we utilize the space with our stuff and giving you our thoughts along the way. So we're going to start right here at the door. There's actually a hook right here. It's pretty nice. It's very, very sturdy, like it's on there. And I actually use it to hang my umbrella and my purse. So that's how strong it is. But we do recommend bringing magnetic hooks of your own, and we'll show you how we use some of those around the room. And right inside your front door is this huge floor length mirror. So you can see, it's giant and it's right across from your closet space. So it's actually really convenient. And this is your closet space. And it has all of our stuff in it, as you can see. But at the very top, we start with your life vest. You always need to know where those are in your room. And then these are some of the day bedding that the steward typically would have out on your bed when you first get in. We actually ask them not to put it out because we don't like these pillows. They don't get washed as often, so we don't want them touching our bed stuff. And then there's just a little bit of extra storage at the top. But down below is your hanging space, and there is a lot of it. Like, we have all of our clothes hanging here, and we still have tons of space, including tons of hangers. And they do provide you on Princess with some laundry bags and slips. So you can pay for your laundry, or if you are elite status, they will give it to you for free or included. And then this Princess bag that's kind of like a plasticky material. So it's good for a tote bag or even a beach bag if you're on a cruise. And down below, you actually have even more storage, and that's where we've put our suitcases, as you can see, as well as our backpacks and some shoes and our dirty laundry. So there's plenty of space. These are very small suitcases, but you could fit a big suitcase down there too. And to the side of your main closet is this armoire with a bunch of shelves. So we have them pretty much all filled, but I put our bathing suits and some towels at the top because we're going to go in the hot tub later. And then we do have a safe. It's a very small safe. We just have our passports and wallets in there. You cannot fit much more than that in there, to be honest. And just some more shelves where we have some various items that we didn't want to hang up. But it is a lot of space. There's actually 2 empty shelves at the bottom. So if you have more people, you should be fine. And just like pretty much every other cruise ship room, your light switch for your bathroom is outside. And then you can head into the bathroom. All right, so you can tell it's a pretty tight space in here, but we've been living in it and it's pretty comfortable. So the vanity is huge, the mirror is huge, and the lighting is actually pretty good. It's, more than enough to get ready in the morning. And then you have 3 shelves. We, have a shelf for each of us and plenty of extra room. So you could definitely have at least a 3rd or 4th person in here if you needed to. And they even give you some glasses for your toothbrush and toothpaste, so you can move those around as you need to. And your sink below your vanity is just a normal sink, but they do provide you with hand wash and body lotion that are both Beekman 1802. And we've been washing our hands a lot because you should always wash your hands when you're on your cruise. And we also have your tissues built into the vanity, so your steward will replace those if they run out. Down below, you have your little trash can for the bathroom, as well as your extra toilet paper, extra tissues, and sanitary disposal bags. You've got your towels hanging above your toilet, and it is just a normal cruise ship toilet. You have to have the lid closed to flush it. And then you have your shower. So this is unfortunately still a shower curtain. They have those on most of the older Princess ships now still, but they are in the middle of converting. It hasn't really been a big deal for us because this shower actually does have a decent amount of space. But the shower head is actually pretty decent. I feel like the water pressure's been decent. What do you think, David?
Yeah, it's not too bad. It does kind of splash out sometimes, so that tells you how powerful it can be.
Yeah, and since you have a curtain, that makes it a little worse. If it was glass, it'd be a little easier.
Yeah.
But right below the shower head is a little shelf. And when I say little, I mean there's 3 things in it and it's full, so you can tell. But it's there. So, and there's another space where we'll have our toiletries. We'll tell you here in a second.
And these are like the tiny bottles, so don't don't let the
Yeah.
camera confuse you.
And then your switch to turn it on or off is right below that. And then on the other side of the shower is your clothesline. So you can put that out if you need to hang wet bathing suits or something else that needs to dry. And down below that, we do have the Princess provided shampoo and conditioner combined, as well as body wash. Those are both also Beekman 1802. And I usually use the body wash, but not the shampoo and conditioner. And it smells really nice. It's very neutral. Like it's not one gender or the other. There's also a grab bar right next to it. And then down below, a little shelf. That's where we put the majority of our toiletries because the little shelf they give you behind the shower head is very tiny. But you can use that for stability or to shave your legs or something like that as well.
All right, and as you can see here, these are actually the magnetic hooks. We got them up on the walls here, and we use them for our hats and stuff like that. I will show you a couple more examples, but right next to that is the thermostat for the room. And it's pretty basic. It's about as basic as it gets. It's just a little knob. And it does let you know when it's actually doing stuff, which is nice. And it's been, in my opinion, it's been okay in here. It could be a little cooler for my preference, but I think for most people, it's probably pretty perfect.
Yeah, I've been a little cold,
Okay,
to be
so
honest.
that'll tell you. So if you watch any of our other videos, you know I'm always warm. So in my opinion, it's actually decent. So I was surprised because when we first came in here, I reached up at the vent and touched it, and it didn't really feel like there was that much air coming out. But as you sit in the room and you kind of feel it out, it actually does get pretty cool. So I appreciate that. So even though it's simple, it doesn't tell you what the room expectation is or what the current detection is doing. At least it is actually working. So that part's nice. All right, and then in front of your bed, which we'll get to in a minute, you have your television here. It's an LG TV. It's actually pretty decent in my opinion. These are the ones we see most common now in all the Princess ships, it seems like. They used to have little tiny TVs up in the corners, and those were awful, but Princess moved on from those days, fortunately. Now, unfortunately, we have a mounted TV, so this is incredibly difficult. You can't really pivot. It doesn't move at all. It's very, very, very strong. It's really, really hooked up to the wall. And that makes it really difficult to hook your own devices up to your TV. Now, I used my little raccoon hands and got back in there and got my little stick hooked up. But I would not recommend that unless you have like a lot of experience or maybe yours isn't as bolted on or something like that. But you never want to pull on these. These will fall off. They will get mad at you. They'll charge you for any damage or potential damage. And that's not a good time. That's a really good way to ruin your vacation. So typically we say don't mess with it. And over here we have even more magnetic hooks. Now we bring like a big pile of magnetic hooks with us, so we kind of just throw them up and throw our cute little stuff up. We're going to Disney after this, so we got some Disney stuff, and we got our Stanley Bear because it's Princess Cruises. And so all these walls, anytime they're like this, they're all magnetic. So it's actually really, really nice. Your front door is magnetic also. You've probably seen pictures and stuff of people putting stuff on their doors. Princess is really cool about that stuff. Some cruise lines are kind of getting like kind of grumpy about it, but I really appreciate that about Princess.
Yeah, and the ceiling is also
Oh, yeah.
magnetic. So if you have like a fan that you want to try to hang to angle at you, you could try that.
Yeah.
Or even like banners and things like that, you could also hang from the ceiling with the hooks.
Yep. All right, just past the TV, we have this little mini bar kind of setup. It's like a nice little additional space. You have an okay mirror. It's actually pretty good size. It's not one you're gonna want to look at your whole wardrobe in or anything like that. But your steward will put like drinks and stuff right here if you order anything. If you get room service, they're gonna want to bring it into the room themselves. This is a good spot for something like that. The main reason for this area is actually the refrigerator down here. You guys can see how we're kind of using it. You know, this is kind of where we keep the snacks and stuff. But down below here, if it looks like we have a lot of water, it's because we do.
And we've already been drinking it. This is almost the last day of the cruise.
Yeah, we've been blasting at it, I promise. So this refrigerator is okay. I feel like this top shelf doesn't get very cold, but down there is actually a pretty good temperature. So, and the door is almost useless. I feel like that you can't really fit anything in there. But overall, the space is actually decent. You couldn't fit like a room service tray or something in there to keep something cool.
Yeah, we did try that. That didn't work.
It's not even close. So my depth perception was a little off on that one. But overall, it's serviceable. And off to the left of the fridge, you actually have 3 decently sized shelves. We really like these shelves. Obviously, we filled them up just to save space because it's a little bit of extra space in a room that, you know, you're kind of starving for space. But it's really easy to forget that you have stuff over here. So try to remember when you're packing your stuff up on the last day. Don't forget this stuff. So overall, I really like these shelves, and I think it's cool that they built it into this little guy here.
And on the other side of where that little mini bar setup is, you have your main desk. And the first thing I'll mention is the mirror. It does create like an infinity mirror effect with the other one. So I think it's mainly just here to make the space feel bigger. But you do have a light and it's pretty bright. So you can definitely get ready in this light as well. And then you will have obviously some sunlight coming in from your balcony. So it's a really good place to get ready in the morning. And that is actually doubled by the fact the hairdryer is in this, which I'll show you here in a minute. But first, we're going to talk about the plugs. So the plug situation is pretty decent on the desk. Start over here, we have your room phone and its jack, which it has little special things over here that you can press for different kinds of phone numbers that you need on board. And then you do have your light switch for your vanity. And then a US plug is over here. Then on the other side, I'm going to unplug this so you can see, that's a regular US plug. And then we have an international plug. So these things are really useful. We use these a lot, pretty much every trip.
Yeah, not a sponsor.
Yeah, you can, so you can choose whether you want US, UK, or EU plugs, and it will fit in all of them. And there's 4 USB slots and a USB-C slot over here, as well as, you know, a US plug that you can use on this side. So very, very useful. And I'm glad we have them because these are really the only plugs in the entire room.
Yep.
So this, you know, these plugs serve everything. It's really unfortunate that they made it this way. I know this ship is from 2013. It's not a newer ship, but even in 2013, everybody has a cell phone. So you would think that they would have made more plugs. But down below the plugs, we actually have some drawers. And over here is where your hairdryer is.
Oh.
And it's a little tiny Conair.
I've heard of this brand.
Yes, it's a little tiny Conair from probably Walmart. And it's not that great, but it is bolted in. Like there's a plug back there somewhere and you cannot like move this to a different space. So if you want to use theirs to dry your hair, you'll have to be here. I would recommend bringing your own just because this looks like it's seen better days.
Yeah.
And then there's 2 other drawers down below. They are not soft close, as you probably just heard. They're just empty drawer space, but it's going to be loud if you're trying to access those in the morning or at night and somebody else is trying to sleep in the room. And you do have a desk chair. These are actually fairly decent because they do have a back on them where a lot of cruise ships only have like a little stool anymore. It's pretty plush. It's like fake leather. I don't think it's real leather. But they do kind of hurt after sitting in it for a few hours because sometimes I work from here, so it can get a little bit uncomfortable. But at least they do have the back on them. And then that takes you kind of to one of your side tables for the bed. So this side table is actually okay because you have all these plugs right next door and you can utilize those. But there's no plugs on the other side table, even though it is pretty much identical. So you do have a little lamp here, and it's a very soft light. And behind that lamp, we actually have some light switches. I'm not going to hit them because then it'll mess up all the lighting, but one goes to lights directly above where your pillows are, and the other does go to the actual room lights. So if you don't want to get out of bed to turn the lights off, maybe you forgot before you got in bed, you can actually do that from bedside on both sides. So that's actually really convenient. And also on your bedside table, you do have a little shelf right here, as well as 2 more drawers. And we just have some cords in there, and they are not soft close. They're actually pretty loud when they snap.
They're very loud and they're grindy. Like it's got a bad grind to it.
So we usually don't use those as much, but you can see like we have 2 empty drawers here, 2 empty drawers in the other bedside table, and then 2 empty drawers down here. So there's plenty of extra storage space we're actually not utilizing, and you can utilize if you have more people in the room. And we do have a balcony. That's one of the key features of the room, right? So we are actually in San Diego right now, so you're not going to have a sea view, but we do have a beautiful view of the Coronado Bridge and some of the city. So to go out to your balcony, there is a handle here. You actually need to turn it all the way up to open. Keep in mind that if you do turn it up, there is a chance your air conditioner will turn off automatically. So just know that you don't want to keep your door open if you want the AC to run if it's like hot outside, and your room will get really, really hot really fast.
Yeah, if you notice your room isn't actually cooling down, try checking the door, like reseating it might help.
Yeah. And out on your balcony, you actually have a good amount of space. As you can see, I have a huge space around me that I'm not really utilizing for anything. We do have 2 chairs and a table out here as well. So those are really nice. There's no footstools with the chairs, it's just the chair itself. So if you want to kind of lounge and relax, you won't really be able to do that.
They can kind of lean back though, which is
Yeah,
nice.
they do lean back. They just don't have anywhere to put your feet. So they are nice to sit in. I think the one downside for that though is like if you're sitting in the chair, this beam right here, it kind of blocks your view. So
It's like perfectly eye level for most people.
yeah, so that's not ideal, but you know, you can always sit up a little taller or just stand up to look, which is what we normally would do. And our balcony is also covered. Again, we're one deck below the Lido deck, which is where the pools are, where most of the food is. And we actually haven't heard like any noise from up there, surprisingly. I'm kind of surprised we haven't heard like the DJ or movies or people, you know, jumping up and down in the pool or anything like that. So it's been really nice on this balcony.
It's actually really quiet considering like the only noise we've really heard has been neighbors moving their chairs around or something like that, but we're just normal balcony
Yeah.
sounds, nothing too crazy.
And it's a good width as well. Like I feel like this is a decently sized balcony and it's just a normal balcony. It's not a deluxe one or anything. So I do think it's definitely worth getting.
Yeah, you could turn these chairs sideways and like kind of prop your feet up on the table if you wanted to get crazy, or on your partner's lap and your partner does it to your lap or something. You guys can lounge a little bit. All right, and the last thing in the room, the thing I care more about than the balcony, probably in the minority there, is the actual bed itself. So this is a good sized bed, I would say. Now you can ask your steward to have two separate beds, but because we're married, we had our beds put together. But if you know anything about princess beds, these are awesome. They're very, very conducive to people that like fluffy, bouncy beds. Really have a lot of give to them. I really, really love these beds. Rachel really loves these beds. These are like one of the things that keep bringing us back to Princess. And the pillows are also unique to Princess too. So we love these pillows so much. We bought them for our own house. They sell out very, very frequently, but you can still get them online. They're awesome. Not a sponsor. We just love these dang beds. Now, I'm not going to do like a full bed test for you guys like our other videos because we've already been sleeping in it for a week or so. So it's not really a first impressions. It's just awesome. Now, my only real complaint with these beds is under the comforter, it can get a little toasty at night. And when you're doing Mexico cruises or Bahamas or any Caribbean for that matter, it's really easy for me personally to start sweating at night. So I don't like that about the comforters. They don't really breathe well. But if you get cold at night and you want to get toasty and make a little cuddle bed, this is like the perfect bed for it. It is absolutely awesome.
And the bed was the last piece of the room. So we've walked you through the entire room, how we have it set up, how we utilize the storage space, how much extra storage space there is. So I guess the last thing to do would be to tell you guys if we would get a balcony on the Royal Princess again. And my answer to that would be yes.
Yeah.
Like, especially on this floor, I feel like it's super, super convenient to the Lido deck. And we are kind of between the midship and aft elevators. So we kind of have an option when we're choosing where we want to go. And we can use that strategically. Like if we know there's a big event happening somewhere midship, we can use the aft. Or if we want to go to the buffet, it's a lot calmer to go into the aft as well. So it's just a really good location. And the balcony is not obstructed at all. It's really nice and it has a good amount of space.
Yeah, and I think when you're going to Alaska and stuff, or even some seasons in Mexico, which is what this is like those are kind of the itineraries the ship's on right now. You can get like rain patches and stuff like that. Having the covered balcony, in my opinion, is actually a pretty big deal.
Yes.
Now and this one's more extended than others, so this one's definitely going to keep you covered. If you wanted to sunbathe, we've had the sun hitting the balcony a couple times. On this particular cruise, it wasn't particularly hot though, so it wasn't like that enjoyable. It's just the sun's actually hitting it. That's nice for an hour or two. But overall, yeah, this room is sweet. Like there's something to be said about being able to take one flight of stairs up and getting some ice cream and just bring it back to the room. It's dangerous, but it's awesome. But overall, yeah, I think this is actually a really sweet option, and the balcony kind of seals the deal in my opinion. So it's awesome.
Yeah, and it's been very clean. And our stateroom steward is wonderful.
Oh,
he's
so
actually
sweet.
one of the most like joyful people we've met on a cruise. So we love him. Shout out to Victor.
Yeah, Victor, you're awesome.
But what do you think? Have you sailed in a balcony room on the Royal Princess, or do you have questions about the balcony room we didn't cover? Let us know in the comments.
Yeah.
And if you enjoyed this video and want to see more travel content from us, please like the video and subscribe to our channel. But for now, I'm Rachel.
And I'm David.
And we hope this video helps you find the right direction for your next adventure.
Bye.
Bye.